the motor in today, finishing it up tomorrow. But I wanted to run it a little bit before I put it on the motorcycle jack, stick it under the car. And I just wanted you guys to see it running one more time. And in a few minutes, we're gonna let it cool down. Then we're gonna put it on a motorcycle jack, get it in the car. Sizing nice. No dead spot. Running really nice. I'm very happy that it went the way it went. All right, get ready to let it cool, then we'll put it on the stand. Gotta disconnect all this stuff. These are 17s, by the way, 17 millimeter. The bottom one I just have on, no bolt. Okay, this apparatus, very handy. I'm sure I'll be using it a bunch more times. On different motors, that is. All right, now I got to get the back piece that sets on here and run the gas line. Okay, now I need to get a couple 10 millimeter bolts and tighten that down. There's a couple tabs here. You gotta make sure they're on the other side of the engine case. Okay, now I gotta get 2 screws. Nice and tight. All right, that's one down. Now I got one on the other side. Well, we're going to put the air cleaner on the gas line a little bit later. Okay. Tighten this. All right, I'm going to get a regular screwdriver, tighten that a little better. All right, that should be tight enough. Now for the breather. I'm going to put a bit of a loop in it so it'll drain back down into the oil fill. You got to get a knife and cut it. Now let's try pairs of scissors. Should be easy to cut. Perfect. Now we got another clamp here. Loosen it up a bit. All right. Put it on the hose. Put the hose on the barb fitting. And we'll tighten the clamp. Okay, that takes care of that. Yeah, put the coil back where it belongs. Take these temporary alternator wires off. When I was running it, I ran these to the battery. I don't know how true it is, but I was told you shouldn't run these too long without the power going somewhere. I don't know if that's true or not, but be on the safe side, I ran it back to the battery. Okay, all there was the hot wire and the ground wire. I'm going to take the ground off. That's a Phillips. It's a long Phillips. I don't know why it was so long. If anybody knows why they have such a long Phillips in here, how about letting me know? Just wondering. I mean, I guess it ain't a mile long, but seems longer than it needs to be. Although maybe you put a few ground wires under it. Another thing my buddy Frank had me do, I think was a real good deal. Where the rotor points at number 1 top dead center, he had me put a little line on there with a chisel, like the original Germans. They have the little line out front here where it's supposed to point to the number 1. Well, now mine points to the number 1 back that way, and there's a mark on there. And then also down here on the block and on the distributor, on the block I punched 2 little tiny dots with a center punch. And then right above it on the distributor, I put 2 tiny dots. So if I ever take it out, all I know is I got to line them 2 sets of dots up. And then I got to put the top dead on the center line, number 1 on that new center line for where the rotor should be pointing. And we should be good to go. So, you know, it simplifies it somewhere down the line if needed. Okay, what's next? Okay, here's my gas line. It's a piece of stainless gas line that I had left from running the new one through the tunnel. Now I'm going to put it on the car. Tighten this clamp up first. I want to make sure it's down far enough on the piece of tubing. Okay, now I want to put another clamp on it. Give it a couple turns. I blew it out on the hose end here to make sure there's nothing in there, no dirt. And I'm going to run the straight line behind the intake manifolds. And in the little piece in the back, there's a grommet. I'll show you that when we're done. And we got to get this down in there under the fuel pump. There we go. We'll get the clamp around there and we'll tighten her up. I don't like the way that clamps on there. I'm going to flip it around. Okay, I flipped it around. Now I could tighten it easier. When you're putting these hose clamps on, you always want to make sure they're positioned to where you can get at them fairly easy. You got to get this one a little tighter. Okay, let's see, the gas line goes under the intake manifold. And I'll show you how it runs out the back. Okay, there's the gas line hooked to the top on a short piece of hose. Then it's on this stainless line, goes under the intake manifold. There's a little grommet in the back of that backing plate. Then it goes down into the transmission area. That is where we're going to put our gas filter because we don't want any problems with fires. We want to eliminate every chance there is of possible engine fire. My son had one maybe 20, 25 years ago, and he was devastated. He had a beautiful, like ruby red 67, and it burned up. It was a shame. All right, moving on. Okay, I believe it's time to put it on the motorcycle jack. One other little tip I picked up was my friend told me about it, and I already got them. They're perfect. They're called go, no-go feeler gauges. If you set it at 6,000ths, you know that it's perfect because it won't go to 7,000ths. It's like a little bit of an advanced feeler gauge, but it definitely helps a DIY guy who's not used to setting valve lash. I mean, you want to be the best you can, and that feeler gauge is a couple more dollars than a regular one, but it assures you you're giving it 6,000ths. Okay, let's get it on the motorcycle jack. All right. Okay, hold it. Well, we got to jack the car up a little bit, then she'll go under. Cut. Good idea to take that out. Before we put her in, I just remembered we have to change that. I took the collar and the bearing off without you watching. Now I'm going to get in there with a seal remover and remove that rubber seal that has to be replaced. Then we'll put the collar back on, and then we'll put the new throwout bearing back on. Okay, we got to do that before we put her in. Okay, new seal, new throwout bearing. I didn't change the collar, the old one's fine. And the clips are all on nice. Beautiful job. Now we're going to put the motor kind of in place. Then I think we're going to call it a day. I'm getting beat, so I'll put the motor in place and then we'll call it a day. A little closer. Well, now that the motor's in place, it's not actually shoved in on the shaft, but it's close. But I don't want to mess around with it now. I'm getting tired. And it's a holiday weekend, and I'm going to call it quits for today. I don't know if I'll be working tomorrow, Sunday, or Monday. You know, with the holiday, you got to do what the little lady wants to do. So hopefully it'll be a nice holiday weekend for us. I'm sure it will be, and for all of you. And please stay tuned, subscribe, you know, like, share, ring the bell. Keep me busy. I love talking to you guys. Send me comments too. You know, even criticism. I'm okay with that because I'm a newbie. You know, like I said, I'm a fabricator, welder, and I like working on cars. But I'm learning a lot about Volkswagens, and I'm enjoying it, and I enjoy all the comments. So everybody enjoy your holiday weekend, and see you in the next one. Thanks.